Welcome to the Growth Lab. This is the podcast dedicated to the business of beauty and vitality. Today, we are sitting down with David Goodman, the CEO of Gym for the Brain. It's an amazing practice that features biooptimization using oxygen. Let's find out more. This episode is brought to you by MedSpa Accelerator. We help medical practices and med spas solve the bottleneck of inconsistent, unqualified patient leads to achieve a predictable, scalable monthly revenue without staff burnout. We're absolutely thrilled to have David join us to discuss the future of patient care and his unique treatments. Let's get started. I'm excited to dive into your story, David. I like to frame these conversations simply past, present, and then future. I want to start with your origin story, even going back to Edenmark, with which is, how you got into this demanding, rewarding industry. And then we'll pivot over to your present reality, which is, what's working and then what's causing friction and what's keeping the doors open at the practice. And then finally, we'll look at the future outlook, which is your vision for the next 3 to 5 years and the biggest strategic moves that you're planning. That way, we'll cover full spectrum of building out a successful clinic. All right, sounds good. Well, let's get started. My first question for you is what made you want to open a wellness center in Florida?
So you mentioned Edenark. Our main company, Edenark Group, is 29 years old or 29 years young, and we are the world's top environmental sustainability certification program. And not to get into too much detail of that, but we felt that there was a gap with regard to environmental sustainability around the world. We felt that everybody else was focused solely just on energy reduction, and we do that. We do that too, but we felt that the elephant in the room for these companies was their people. We think that sustainability starts and ends with people, not with LEDs and solar panels. So we felt we needed to create a component that was part and parcel with our sustainability certification service that satisfied the health, vitality, wellness, happiness of people. And so that's what
Okay.
drove us to start this.
Okay, so it was a natural transition because you felt that there was a gap in the market. Okay, great. That makes a lot of sense to me. So that answers my first question. Now let me just harken back to Edenmark, right? So Edenmark provides ISO certification. Is that correct? Tell us about that.
We have a we have a unique program. We're the world's 23rd ranked blog, and I'm an ISO 14001 lead auditor and an ISO 14065 lead auditor. We can help a company become certified sustainable, carbon neutral, net zero. We help with ESG programs. But on the sustainability side, consumers, B2B, B2C, consumers want to buy from good corporate citizens. And a company should not be making any kind of green or environmental claims that are not attached to a standard. So we bring the world's
Hmm.
top standard, the ISO 14001. We help the company become certified under that standard so the company can wave a flag and say, look at us, we're a good corporate citizen, we're doing good things for the environment, and we're also selling products and services that you might want to buy. And their sales goes up along with the fact that they're helping the world. So it's a win-win for the company.
Wow, that's great. That is really fantastic. Now let's pivot over to Gym for the Brain. Now, why is oxygen so important to the brain, David? Tell us.
Well, let's broaden it and say that oxygen is obviously critical to our entire body. If you look at the research, and I'm gonna paraphrase a number of doctors and researchers,
Okay.
disease occurs when cells have an absence of oxygen. When cells are healthy with an abundance of oxygen, disease does not occur. Now that's paraphrasing a bunch of different uh, research studies and doctors, but in effect, if you take the human body and you give it more oxygen, the body knows what to do with it. 2019 Nobel Prize was won on the study of what the body knows how to do when given extra oxygen. And so the body in general needs more oxygen. The brain should be getting 20% of the oxygen you and I are breathing right now. But as we age, be it toxins, be it inflammation, be it disease, be it just old age. We are not getting that 20% to our brains. And that's 20% is just for maintenance. If you have a concussion or any kind of an event and you want the brain to recover, then you want to give it more than 20% of the oxygen you're breathing in. And that just doesn't happen without any kind of extra help.
Okay. Now I'm just thinking in my head about kind of those people, and it's usually elderly. Usually, you'll see this in an elderly group home. The people that are dragging around those oxygen tanks, right, on a little caddy, right. Now, how is that benefiting them and them getting that oxygen directly? Tell me how that's improving a condition that they may have already.
Let me first say that's different than what we do, and then I'll answer your question. So
Okay.
they are already at a point, maybe they were a smoker. Somehow, some way, they have gotten to a point where their body is not taking in the amount of oxygen that they need. And that canister that they're dragging around is pressurized, and that's pushing oxygen up. Just like if you were to crawl into a hyperbaric chamber, that hyperbaric chamber is pushing oxygen into your body. So they need that push to get that extra oxygen in, or they'll die or pass out. I mean, they're at a point where they have to have that extra oxygen because their body's just not able to pull the oxygen from their environment as it should. That's different than what we do. What we do is imagine sitting on an exercise bicycle and you're pedaling an exercise bicycle and you're wearing a mask. And that mask is attached to two bags. Right now, I'm at sea level. I don't know where you're at, but I'm at sea level and I'm breathing 21% oxygen. If I were to go up in the mountains, the percentage of oxygen goes down, right? It's the air's, they say, thinner, right? So it's less
Yeah.
oxygen as we go up. If I'm riding a bicycle and getting my heart rate up and I'm taking in less, the percentage of oxygen in my blood goes down and I go into mild hypoxia. And that gets back to that Nobel Prize. When I go into mild hypoxia, my body is saying, hey, man, I'm working here. I'm exercising here. Give me some fuel. And then we throw a switch and we give you 86% oxygen, 4 times what you and I are breathing right now. And the body then knows where to send that oxygen. Maybe I worked in the yard this weekend and my back is sore. The body would send extra oxygen there. Or if I have early cognition problems, the body would send extra oxygen there. So if we let the body ask for it, if we tease the body by putting the body into mild hypoxia, tease the body to ask for oxygen, and then we give it the oxygen, the body knows where to send it.
Awesome. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So, I guess why don't I see people that are at the gym working out using some of those disposable oxygen canisters? And should I?
Yeah, so let's take that point. Because I'm in Florida, I have a lot of clients that are snowbirds. They come down during the winter months and then they go back up north during the summer months. I tell them all the following. You can go online and you can buy one of those little canisters. One of the brands is called Boost. I'm not promoting the Boost brand. We're not in any way involved with it, but that's one of the
I think
brands
I've
that I
seen that
know.
in Walmart.
Yeah, $10 for a little canister. And then buy an oximeter for your finger, $10. So maybe you're a bicycle rider, maybe you're just doing something at the gym, and um, do the box breathing where you breathe in, hold for 5 or 6 seconds, breathe out, hold for 5 or 6 seconds. And basically by doing box breathing, you can cause your SpO2, what we were talking about before, the concentration of oxygen in your blood, to go down, especially if you're riding on an exercise bicycle and you're working your body, right? So
Hmm.
have that meter on your finger, watch your SpO2, do box breathing while you're doing some sort of an exercise that's driving your heart rate up, and then take that canister of boost and take a couple pops off it. You will have driven your SpO2 down. Then you take a couple pops of that boost. it'll go back up to 9,900, then do more exercise, drive it down, and then take a couple pops and take it back up. So you're teasing your body, and then with box breathing, having that to go down, your SpO2 to go down, and then take the pops of the canister of oxygen, and you'll go back up. It's just like doing an arm curl. Stress, relax, stress, relax. We're teasing, then satisfying, teasing and satisfying.
Does this lessen the fatigue, and are you able to work out harder and faster with that?
One of our partners is LA Fitness. They send their members over to us because heart rate variability goes up, VO2 max goes up, your red blood cells go up, your carry capacity, your veins and arteries get stronger. Basically, well, let me ask you this. We're at the Olympics right now. Do athletes go up into the mountains to train before events? Yes. Why do they go up in the mountains to train before events? Because when you're in the mountains, it's harder to breathe, so the body's working harder to pull that oxygen in, and it's just like exercising your arms. The body is strengthening itself because it's working harder to pull in that oxygen. So by having those moments at high altitude on our facility here, we're teasing the body into strengthening itself, and it asks for oxygen. And when we give it, it knows what to do with it.
Wow, that's amazing. And so, is that the tenets of how oxygen training works?
So with at our place, that is one of 8 modalities. So you do that, and now you've sort of filled yourself with fuel, right? You've just done a session of 20 minutes or so, and you're now full of oxygen. Then we have other modalities here that magnify that oxygen in your body that gets the most out of it, so to speak. Now, to your question, oxygen training, yes. So if you have a person who says they do like exercise with oxygen therapy, or they do intermittent hypoxic training, that's a or contrast oxygen, those are a variety of ways of talking about what we do.
Okay. Okay. All right. Fantastic. So, do you only do oxygen therapy at Gym for the Brain down there in Jupiter, or do you provide other types of services as well?
So the oxygen component, which we've just discussed, is the first of our modalities. And then you move around the room. We have another tool, and it does protein folding. What's protein folding? So
Yeah, I
all
don't know.
all the work that goes on inside your body is done by protein. So if you were to scratch your hand and you want to scab up and heal, protein needs to do that work. But for protein to do the work, protein needs to change its shape. It folds in on itself before it goes to work. And so we have a machine here that accelerates the process of protein folding. So if I was a baseball pitcher and I pitched on Monday, and I knew I had to pitch again 4 days later on Thursday or Friday, and I wanted my body to recover faster from that Monday game that I was in, I would use this machine to accelerate the process of recovery. We have some ex-National Hockey League All-Stars that come here. And when they first walked in the first time, they saw that machine and they knew exactly what that machine was because they had it in their training facility at their place, because hockey players get beat up, right? And so they have to have tools to help them rebuild and recover, and this tool is that. So you walk in one room and you get that oxygen we were just talking about. Then you go to another station and you use the protein folding machine to accelerate the use of that oxygen by, in effect, kicking the protein into gear so that they work faster. And then we have another machine that works on executive function, speed, memory, concentration, speed of processing. So we have a variety of machines here and tools that basically help the body and the brain get stronger.
That's amazing. That's really great. And so, to make the brain then kind of like a working muscle, right?
So our cognitive recovery program, Wellness Magazine ranks number one in the world. So the success we've had for people with Alzheimer's, dementia, brain fog, long COVID, concussion problems, stroke. We just had a person with stroke just leave a couple minutes ago. The success we've seen has been, to be honest, has been amazing. We've been very,
That's
very
great.
pleased. Well beyond what we had hoped.
Tell us about the bioregulation therapy, David.
So just the bioregulation is the combination of all of the above. That's our the way we talk about all of our services. It's the bio, right? And we're helping to regulate the improvement of your body. And so that's just the phrase we use to talk about all these modalities that we have here.
Okay. Okay. All right. Sounds good. And what does a session usually cost?
So we sell packages. If somebody would come in and ask for one session is $150, but I just give them the session for free to let them test us out. We sell packages
Okay.
of 3, 6, 9, 12. A 3-pack is $90 a session, so $270 for a 3-pack. And then
Okay.
the next question you would have is, okay, but when would somebody start seeing some benefit? And the answer is, if you were to do 3 sessions a week, get on top the wave, you or more likely a loved one will start noticing some benefit in 8 to 12 sessions. So let's say you come in 3 times a week for a month. At the end of that month, somebody, probably your husband or your wife, is going to notice that you got more kick in your step, your mood is better, your energy levels up, and they're going to notice that. And then all the other benefits that we see here, they tag along to.
Okay. Wow, it sounds pretty reasonable. And the first one being free, that sounds pretty great. That's amazing. And how many patients, I guess you could call them patients or customers, I'm not sure what when you term them, do you have right now that's on a regular basis that purchases, on the packages?
Yeah, so that's let me answer it a different way. We're closing in on our 7,000th session. So
Wow.
yeah. Now, the reason why I danced around your question is because we have a lot of people that are currently doing 3 a week. We have some people doing 2 a week. We have some people doing 1 a week, 1 every 2 weeks, 1 a month. We have some people that are away for travel and they're coming back and they'll do 1. So it's hard for me to throw out a number and say we have 36 people active or 55 people active right now. It's easier for us to say in total we've we're well past 6,000, closing in on 7,000 sessions.
Wow, that's pretty great. That's amazing. Now, I do have a really important question to ask you, and it has to do with you said that you've gone through that many already, and that's amazing. It's really, really, really. What's the biggest goal for the business in 2026 of this year? You said you're closing on this. Do you say 7,000th or 8,000th?
7,
7,000,
7.
I think. 7.
Yep,
Okay,
right.
so what's the goal for the end of 2026? Do you wanna get to 10,000?
Actually, it's more the recognition from the medical community. When we started this, being that we're a wellness business, our clients were coming to us outside of the medical community. Now, easily 8 out of 10 new clients are referrals by doctors.
Wow.
The medical community is There are hundreds of published medical studies on the modalities that we use here. And not our studies, these are studies by the Harvards and the MITs. And so they're now seeing those studies and they're recognizing that these modalities have some credibility. And the secret sauce or the magic of our place is the cocktail, if you will, of blending these different modalities into a session. I mean, each one of these modalities on its own is powerful, but when you put them together in a sequence, the value has been remarkable. And so, back to your question, I want to see more and more referrals from the medical community and I want to start seeing some studies being done on us by the medical community.
It sounds like they've really gotten behind you in terms of recognizing your value in terms of treatments and what you can do for those patients, and that's nothing short of amazing. And I think those are really great goals, to have that recognition for, Gym for the Brain itself in your own modalities and blending those together. That's really fantastic.
Yeah,
All right, well,
the customers will come. If we continue to do our job, everything else falls in place.
yeah, yeah, you really have found your niche. And wow, it sounds so good to be true. You guys have really, really found your place. And wow, do you franchise? I think a lot of people want to
Actually,
know.
actually, I've been asked that. I was just asked that recently about from a group in the Middle East.
Yeah, yeah, I bet. I bet you really got it dialed in with your SOPs and the blending of the modalities and everything. So, congratulations on all your success. Now that we've really addressed that, I want to focus on where the strain and the chaos shows up. When you look at your current patient acquisition process, what's the first point of friction or strain that your team feels every day?
I wouldn't say every day, but I guess the biggest frustration we have is when someone contacts us from someplace far away and they've done their research, they know that this is where they need to be, and so they're trying to figure out how to get here. The cost and all the struggle that they're going to have to go through to. I mean, we have people flying in from Europe, and so the whole feeling sorry for the fact that it would be nice if we had more of these around the world, because getting to Jupiter, Florida is not easy for most people. So just the feeling sad that we're not able to serve more.
Yeah, well, maybe you should consider franchising to other locations. That would allow you to complete that goal of serving more people. And yeah, I think that might be an option for you. Of course, you'll have to make that decision. Okay, so that's basically the strain. Then is currently, if I understood you correctly, is you just not being able to serve everybody that wants to be served. Is that correct?
Yeah, for people that don't live close by. Your
Okay.
your question was, the in effect, the onboarding, I think. Your question was, what's the strain when you have new clients or try to get new
Yes.
clients? We're not
Yes.
feeling a strain there. When
Okay.
somebody walks in the door and we're able to show them what we do, it makes sense. 90% of the time their response is, I'm ready. I'm ready to start. So
Okay.
our
It's an
ability to
easy
get
yes.
somebody to say, yeah, now when they haven't come here and we're trying to explain, just like the conversation we're having right now, it's often difficult for a person to picture what I'm talking about. So until they physically set foot here and see the stuff and have me point it out and explain it, that's difficult. So I guess
Yeah.
that would be another pain point, being able to explain it without having them put boots in here and see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, if you could eliminate one time sink or repetitive task that distracts your most highly paid staff from delivering on the oxygen therapy, what would that be?
When a person is sitting on that bike that I was talking about, I am trying to create an app to where the client can plug in a program, a schedule while they're on the bike. Maybe they're at level 3 or whatever, and they can plug that in, and the bike, or actually the app, will rotate between the high altitude and the rich oxygen without a human being having to be there the whole time and throwing the switch. So we've played with this a while. We haven't got it to where we want it, but that would take away from the time where you have to sit there the whole time. You could go and do a few other things as long as you're still checking on the person. So that's something we're working on.
Okay. All right, that's great. And this is a good one. It kind of goes to your subscription, your package based program. What systems do you have to take a one of those first timers that that comes in and just tries it out. Maybe you gave it to them for free for the first time, and to turn them into kind of just a tire kicker, checking it out for the first time, to somebody that's a high value patient that's going to return for multiple treatments, buying a large package to come back to Jupiter, Florida throughout the year.
So from a cash flow standpoint, I'd love everybody to buy an 18 pack or a 21 pack or something like that. But from a pocketbook standpoint for the client, I tell everybody just buy 3 packs. The additional discount that you get from going from a 3 pack to a 6 pack to a 9 pack is not as significant as the hurt to your wallet of buying that 6 or a 9 pack. So just buy the 3 packs and let's see progress. Let's establish some metrics up front that we agree on that can be a way for us to test that you're actually seeing value. And as long as we have progressive value, just keep buying 3 packs as you need, and we'll be fine. So we take a very low key approach to this. Try to not put pressure on the client's wallet. If for whatever reason they want to stop,
Okay.
and I
Wow.
guess
Okay.
that's because
Great.
we're having success, and when you have success, it's easy to say things like that because you know that people are going to keep walking in the door.
Yeah, you're doing so great right now, David. I'm so proud of you. It's fantastic. What is your philosophy on delegating the core business functions like lead generation as if you needed it, or appointment management versus keeping them in house? Do you keep everything in house?
Yes, we have other organizations that are lead generation sources for us, local businesses that have complementary services, and I mean, like we have an acupuncturist that has a business down the hall from us that sends people to us, and so we get leads from other businesses. But in terms of
Well,
all
that's great.
the software and administration, we handle all that inside.
Okay, how's that compiled? What are you using? Something like HubSpot or?
We use what is the service that we use that for we use a simple CRM that that we run our appointments through, and then we use QuickBooks for our for our finances. So it's pretty simple.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, QuickBooks is different. Yeah.
But
Okay. Yeah,
in
I was
terms
just
of
trying to.
setting appointments and managing the clients, it's all on Outlook and a CRM.
Wow, so you're not using any scheduling programs, any AI tools, anything to help the patient get scheduled easier, faster, better? Nothing like that?
No, so remember, I run an environmental company, and AI, there are some issues with it. Number one, it is a huge energy drain. So it is now the the data centers are now the
Yes,
fifth
I'm aware.
largest energy user in the world. The quality of the work product is suspect. There are a lot of errors. It violates HIPAA constantly. And employees that use AI a lot, studies show that they're dumbing down. So here I am running an environmental company and I'm running a wellness company. And I know that people that use AI right now, until maybe some of the bugs are fixed, people are dumbing down because they're not using their brain as much. So we're cautious with of it for those reasons I just mentioned.
Okay, so are you completely anti-AI because of that?
I am anti-AI without standards and without guardrails.
Okay.
There are so many people that last year they were dog walkers and this year they're AI experts and they're out selling things that they really don't have a full grasp on. I just think that industry needs some structure. It needs to create the protocol so that, for instance, HIPAA is not violated. I mean, things need to occur. AI is fast, absolutely, and AI will save money if used properly. But the vast majority of organizations that are using AI today are not seeing financial benefit. And it's because they maybe they got in with maybe they bit off too much or what they their goals weren't set up right. We recognize that this is happening. We recognize it's a tool, but we believe that there needs to be some governance for it to run properly.
Now I've got another question for you, and it you mentioned this kind of as a pain point a little bit earlier, which is you're sometimes for somebody that's not local to the area of Jupiter, and you're talking to them on the phone, and they've never, experienced it. They've never gone there before. What is the biggest challenge in translating the excitement of of the value that you can provide, actually showing that, like, for example, maybe on an ad or a social post, into a seamless, high touch experience that they actually reach out to you for? For example, maybe high impact video.
So we do have video. I wouldn't call it high impact video, but we do have video. And we do via our online store called A Better World Starts With Me. We sell all of the modalities that we have here. So what we do, and I just shipped something a couple days ago to a doctor out in Los Angeles, but we will work with that client, and if for whatever reason they can't come here, then we'll start them on a program using our supplements, and then some of the very inexpensive modules that we have, and we'll get them going in a fashion that's not painful for them from a wallet standpoint, and then they can progress, they can see value, and then they'll come back to us and they'll add some of the other modules. So I didn't answer your question. Your question was, how do I sell without somebody walking in the door? And
Right.
we we admit that that has been a weak spot for us, being able to explain ourselves well without somebody walking in the door. But for somebody that's living far away that can't get here, we have a process where we can help them inexpensively, and they will progress through
From the comfort of their own home?
from the comfort of their own home or their business or whatever. But to your first question, and that is, but how do you get them to say yes before that even happens? And admittedly, our our videos, our media is not as robust as it could be.
Fair enough, and there's a reason why I definitely asked that question. Do you think that it's, going to that challenge could possibly impact you from achieving your goal in this year?
I don't know if it will impact us achieving the goal that I stated, but in terms of, I believe it will impact our online sales. Absolutely. Whether it will have a material impact on our traffic here at our facility, maybe not. But in terms of solving that problem of somebody who isn't walking in the door, yeah, it not having really good videos to explain what we do is limiting our ability to tell our story. Absolutely.
Well, that's a fantastic breakdown, David. And thank you for being so candid about the operational reality. So, the website is gymforthebrain.com. You'll be able to see a link in the description down below. And we're also going to have everything that you need to be able to check out. And you can call them directly and you can speak to David about more of that as well. And I want to thank you so much for being here, David. It has really, really been eye opening. And I know that our audience is going to get immense value from this. And with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the recorded portion of the Growth Lab.
Thank you.